strength, persistence, and determination. They can all be empowering. They can also be dangerous when they're not balanced with self-care and mindfulness. My stroke was in the middle of my speech center. I was at 22% heart function. They only gave me a 2% chance to live. It gave me 4 things that becomes my North Star: faith, family, friends, and fun. And I stand before you a completely new human with a completely different outlook and approach on life.
Hey, welcome to the Future of Selling podcast, where we dive into challenges, we dive into trends, we dive into innovations, just anything that's impacting the future of sales or the sales landscape. I'm your host, Rick Smith. I'm so appreciative that you decided to join us today. You know, our guest today is Roderick Jefferson. So Roderick is the founder and the CEO of Roderick Jefferson and Associates. It's a consulting firm which specializes in sales enablement strategy. He's got over 20 years of leadership experience driving revenue growth through enablement, productivity, and he's worked for some massive companies, right? Like Oracle and Salesforce. Roderick is a best-selling author of Sales Enablement 3.0, and as we were talking, I found out that he's actually a couple of books that he's written, so I'm sure we'll get into those. So good to go there. He's not only a consultant and an author, but he's also a trainer, a keynote speaker. He's doing some online training modules that he's creating now. Man, I am so looking forward to the conversation today. It's going to be a great one. So, Roderick, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for your time today. Appreciate you being here.
Thanks, Rick. I am absolutely excited to jump in, and I have been counting down to this one because I know that we're going to have a good time, especially based on the conversation that we had in the green room before we came in. Let's just dance, man. Let's jump right in.
I like it. Well, good, man. Well, let's get going. So, I always like to start with a few fun facts up front, just to make it personal to everybody, so the people listening kind of know, oh, okay, well, he's definitely an expert, professional, got a lot of time, he's going to sales enablement, but he's also a human. So we found a few fun facts. We'll share those with you and with the audience as well, if that's okay.
Sounds good to me.
All righty. So, first fun fact, you're a musician at heart, and you play the drums, and you use music as a metaphor for team collaboration. Is that accurate? I'll get there.
That's semi-accurate.
Okay.
I started with drums, and I actually wound up playing trumpet.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
Moving forward, then I became drum major in marching band, and I became symphony master. So that's where the analogy of the orchestra came from.
Yeah.
It's literally life experience.
Okay. Got it. Well, good. We'll get into that. You've also been interviewed on 250 plus podcasts, which we were talking about just a second ago. I think that's amazing. And you still get excited for each one. So I hope you're excited for this one, and we're going to have a good conversation. But man, that's a lot. I mean, it's a ton of podcasts. So congratulations. That's huge.
Thank you. And I'm still standing up after all of that. I may have 2 brain cells, Rick, and you're going to get both of them.
I want all of it. Give it all.
In actuality, the whole purpose for me was to be able to have conversations versus giving presentations, right?
Yeah.
The same thing that I do up on the stage. So when I'm on here, I feel like I am trying to have a personal conversation with every single one of your leaders. Yeah. And my hope is that if I can leave them with one thing that may not make their life easier, but just a little better, then you know what? Mission accomplished.
Yeah, I love that approach. And by the way, I've done a number of podcasts now as well from podcast interviewer. I find being the podcast interviewer is easier than being the podcast interviewee. I don't know if you see that, but man, to be on 250, and I just think that's amazing. So yeah, I'm confident we're going to leave people with some value today. So third fun fact, you've been named the godfather of sales enablement. So I want to find out a little bit more about what that means and how you got that title as we go through the conversation today. And then I don't normally do a fourth one, but I think this is a really important fact and fun fact, critical fact, important to who you are. You survived a near-death experience from a stroke, And you've been able to use this as inspiration for really much of the work I think that you do now. So we definitely want to talk, if I were to put a theme on this, it would be the orchestration of sales enablement in the age of AI. It sounds really
Oh, I
fancy.
love that. Absolutely love that.
But I want to start with this story, right? I want to start, and if you don't mind, just kind of take us there. You had a near-death experience, you had a stroke, you've recovered from that. So tell us about that and how that kind of worked its way through what you're doing now.
Yeah, I was traveling quite a bit as an executive, and I was down in LA doing a site visit for a sales kickoff for a company that I was working for.
Yeah.
And it was just a regular Tuesday, and I remember it literally like it was yesterday. It was October 27th, 2021. And I'll tell
Okay.
you why that's an important day. And so we were walking the property, you get to taste some of the food, you see all the rooms,
Yeah.
all the IT stuff, the usual stuff you do for a sales kickoff.
Right.
Then we got to dinner and I just felt so exhausted. Look,
Yeah.
I had played football, I had played basketball my whole life, all the way through college. So I know tired,
Yeah.
right? The double days and the first week of practices.
Right.
It wasn't that kind of tired though. It felt like I literally had no control of my body. Like I fell asleep in the middle of a sentence to the
Wow.
point to where it was almost like narcolepsy. I just fell asleep and boom, hit my head on the table. And I,
Wow.
I looked up and everybody's looked at me like, man, are you okay? Yeah, I had only had one cocktail, so I know that wasn't it.
Right.
Right.
Right. Right. Right.
Something was off.
Yeah.
And so I go back to my room. It's a regular night. I go to sleep and I wake up the next morning. And so whenever I'm on the road, my wife and I always check in over FaceTime. Hey, how are the kids? What's going on?
Yeah.
Here's what happened. Here's what's going on the road. I'm okay. Well, it sounded in my mind like what you're hearing now. My wife heard gibberish.
Wow.
And she said, babe, I need you to jump on FaceTime. I need to see something.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on? She's like, something's off. I just want to make sure your face isn't drooping.
Right.
Then she literally walked me through stroke protocol. So my
Okay.
wife and I have been together for 35 years. And
Okay.
I truly believe that she saved my life that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she said, what's your birthday?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I should probably know that.
Yeah.
She asked me, say the alphabet. Sure. A, B, L, Q, X, Y,
Yeah.
Z, H. Count to 10. 1, 2, 12, 47, 59.
Yeah.
She's like, look at me. And I looked at her and I just had a glazed look. And she said, babe, you're having a stroke.
Yeah.
And so thankfully I had one of the directors on my team, Tim Carlson. And so hang up, I call Tim. I say, call 911.
Right.
Well, little did I know, I am in a unique category where I actually had my stroke while I was asleep.
Wow.
And it turns out that 98% of sleep stroke victims never wake up. That's
Okay.
why it is the silent killer.
Yeah.
And me being, the typical male, I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm fine. I'll go to my meeting and then I'll go to the hospital and get checked later.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Tim said, no, you're not. He called 911. He jumped in the ambulance. We went there, went through the protocol. And it turns out I had been diagnosed years ago with something called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which
Okay.
is an enlarged heart and an excess layer of muscle. So one, I have a really big heart, Rick.
Okay. Well,
And secondly, I've got an excess layer of muscle around my heart from getting in too good of a shape, if you will, as an athlete.
yeah.
Turns out I only stayed there for about 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours. They
Okay.
did a very basic check on me. They're like, you can go home.
Yeah.
That was the day I was supposed to fly home from LA back to San Francisco Bay Area.
Yeah.
I don't remember the next 3 days, but I'll
Wow.
tell you based upon conversations from people and from my wife of what happened. I flew in, and the first thing that my cardiologist now and neurologist now said, he's a miracle. There's no reason you should be alive
Yeah.
because cabin pressure, altitude, mid-stroke is a deadly combination.
Yeah.
And so he also let my wife know that the human heart normally squeezes at 65 to 75% on average. When
Okay.
it gets down to 20%, cardiac arrest hits and you die.
Okay.
I was at 22% heart function. They only gave me a 2% chance to live.
Yeah.
Now, clearly God had a different idea of this.
Different
So
plan.
I go through things. I lost my left side, leg and arm, paralyzed.
Yeah.
I went snowblind, which meant it was bright all the time. So I had no concept of time,
Okay.
right? It was always daytime to me.
Yeah.
And I know that God has a sense of humor because my stroke was in the middle of my speech center,
Okay.
which meant I couldn't talk. So all I could do was listen. And believe me, he had a lot to say to me.
Yeah.
Fast forward now, here's where it gets really interesting. I'm in the hospital, I guess about 2 weeks at that point.
Yep.
Suddenly I hear code blue and lights are flashing, machines are beeping, and it's my room.
Wow.
And all of a sudden I hear beep. I flatlined.
So you can hear you can hear the machine when you
I hear
flatline.
the machine, and then it started to get fuzzier, kind of like when you're at the dentist and you get twilight.
Yeah.
Same thing. I
Okay.
could hear, but it was just a bunch of background chatter. I did not leave the room. I actually floated up to the corner of the room. I'm looking down on them and they're working on my body, doing chest compression,
Yeah.
sucking fluids out of me, doing all kinds of things. I look to my left and it's my mama. My mama
Okay.
died in 99.
Wow.
So, my first thought, okay, great. Faithful servant, good and faithful servant. It's time for me to go home.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And she said, no, baby. I was sent here to do two things: to tell you, one, you're going to be fine and they're going to figure this out.
Yeah.
And the second thing was that you have a new purpose in life.
Yeah.
And little did I know what it was going to become. And I can't give that away because it's actually in the book that I
Okay. I
wrote.
was good. That was my next question.
I know that's the next question. No, 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 no.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's in my book, Stroke of Success. But
Yeah.
just know that it now gave me four things that becomes my North Star:
Yeah.
faith, family, friends, and fun. And especially that last one, because as adults, that's the one thing that we never make time for,
Yeah.
which is fun.
Yeah.
So here I am later. I've gone through speech therapy, occupational therapy, um, physical therapy, and I stand before you a completely new human with
Yeah.
a completely different outlook and approach on life.
Wow. That's incredible. How long were you flatlined? Do you know? I mean, did they tell
I
you?
don't know. It seemed like it was a lot longer,
Yeah.
obviously long enough for us to have a full
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
I it's interesting. I never asked how long I was out.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll ask my cardiologist the next time I see him.
Yeah,
How
I've
long?
read some books about near death experiences, and some similar. They're different ones, right? But that's some similarities there. But it just an incredible experience. My gosh, and that was coming up on, I guess, 4 years ago, right?
Yeah, my 4-year stroke anniversary, as we call it, will be October 28th. And it's actually the day so my book is in pre-sale right now, Ray.
Okay.
And that is
Oh,
the day that I have chosen to drop my book on my stroke anniversary.
I saw that. I saw the drop date. That okay. Now I get it. Now I get it. Okay, good deal. So you did tell me four things that you kind of took from this, right? Four kind of priorities, unless there's another word you want to put on them. But it was faith, family. There was a third one I missed: friends and fun. Man, I like those. Yeah. So I'm assuming this is probably what the book is about, because you do have the new book coming out. And tell us the name of it again in case somebody didn't catch it.
Sure. The book is called Stroke of Success, and you can
Okay.
find it on my website now at roderickjefferson.com. And the reason I did that is for the folks that actually purchased the book during pre-sale,
Yeah.
I've got a couple of really solid extra exclusives for you
Okay.
that you won't get once the book goes on to Amazon.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
So
Cool.
yeah, to answer your question, it's actually the baseline of the book, right? But it's not actually the entirety of the book per se.
Okay.
So, and I get this a lot. What's the book about? It sounds really good, and I tell the story, and they're like, "Oh, I can't wait." Don't worry. There's a whole chapter that goes far deeper than what I just talked about the near death experience.
Yeah.
The Stroke of Success to me is really more of a blueprint for anyone that's currently navigating their journey towards success, whatever success may mean for them, right?
Right.
And their journey shows and requires, like all of us, strength, persistence, and determination.
Yeah.
And they can all be empowering, but they can also be dangerous when they're not balanced with self-care and mindfulness.
Yeah.
And that is the book. I tell about my meteoric rise as a corporate exec, and then as an entrepreneur and a founder. I tell about the crash, which is what actually led to the stroke.
Yeah.
And then the third piece of the book, because I do it into kind of like part one, part two, part three.
Yeah.
Part three of the book is The Phoenix Rises
Yeah.
and what has happened since the stroke and why I'm actually so thankful for that.
Yeah.
because my cardiologist let me know that had I not had that stroke on October 28th, that
Yeah.
I would not have made it to Christmas and might not have even made it to Thanksgiving.
Wow.
So it was a blessing in disguise. And most people go, "You're happy about having a stroke?" Yeah, because I'm still here to tell the story.
Yeah. Life changer and life saver, right?
100%.
Yeah, that's amazing. So if I read the book well, are you going to do it in audible as well?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm going to actually do the audiobook
Okay.
myself.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good. I always like it when the author does it themselves. So if I
Yeah, I don't think anybody else can give it the passion or the experience. And oddly enough, Rick, it created PTSD for me as
yeah
I was writing the book. There were days where I was literally in full on tears and I
yeah
was shaking. I had to walk away because I had to put myself back into those rooms and those situations. But
yeah
then by the time it was done, it was the biggest exhale I've ever had in my life. And
yeah
it was cathartic because I remembered something that my mom said that day, and that was, all the things you're going to do now are no longer about you. It's
yeah
about helping others.
yeah. Okay. I can't wait to get my hands on it. So October 28th, but I can get it on your website now if I want.
You can get on the website at roderickjefferson.com right now.
Okay, awesome. So let me ask you this: when I read the book, or if anybody else reads the book, and they will, what do you want me to do? I mean, I'm assuming there's a call to action in there somewhere, right? Maybe there's multiples. I mean, what are you hoping the outcome is for Rick?
Actually, I've got 14 call to actions,
I
and that
like
is the
it.
end of every single chapter.
I knew
Now,
that would be, so that's good. So
here's what I want you to go and do. You know what I want them to do? I want them to do a few things. One is really focus on that fun piece in life,
yeah,
because as adults, we can find time to do anything we want to but have fun. And the older we get, the further we get away from fun and being your authentic self, right? And
yep,
now anything you see, I've got two favorite hashtags. One is learn anywhere, achieve everywhere. And
yep,
the other is IQ plus EQ plus AI. And I think in order for us to be successful, we've got to put all those three-legged stools together.
yeah,
But from the book, I want people to really know what it feels like to take off that mask,
yeah,
bring the wall down, allow yourself to be not only authentic, but be vulnerable as well.
yeah,
I also want to make sure that they are taking care of themselves physically.
yeah,
And the next piece is I want them to find a way to not only feed themselves, their families, their significant others, but to feed their soul as well.
yeah,
Because there's a lot of things that we do for other people.
yeah,
Even on the airplane, what do they say? Put your mask on first.
yeah,
A lot of people have a hard time doing that.
yeah,
And then finally, I want them to realize that I'm a human. Yes, incredibly blessed to be able to get through what I was, but I'm giving you some techniques. I've got a whole resource part of the back of the book of how do you find more relaxation? How do you find more balance? How do you find more peace and harmony? And I'm not talking about kumbaya and holding hands. I'm literally talking about things that you can do that are small. How do I address stress
yeah,
differently? How do I not get how do I get uncomfortable with being comfortable
yeah,
at that red line of stress all the time? Medically, go see your doctor. A lot, especially men,
yeah,
we're hard headed. I get it, but
yeah.
go see your doctor. Go see your cardiologist. Make sure everything's okay with you, and then do not skip those annual meetings with your doctors.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That man, it sounds great. I can't wait to get a hold of it and read it. I love the fact you've got these little, kind of do these things in the back of the book to help people address the anxiety at times they feel. So, um, well, let me kind of transition this a little bit. So, thank you by the way, for just sharing that story, and I could tell just how passionate you are about it. And again, I can't wait to read the book. I'm assuming that you're going to take the book and the experience, and probably already taken the experience, and you pull it into everything that you're doing from a sales enablement standpoint. So, um,
Absolutely.
tell us a little bit about that, right? What your company now, right? So maybe just dive in a little bit deeper into Roderick Jefferson and Associates. What do you do? Who do you serve? What kind of results are you seeing?
Absolutely. So we are a consulting company of I am a fractional sales enablement leader. And what that means is I'm not someone that needs to be on your payroll that's going to create more overhead. I come in, do an analysis, and see what's in place today, and then working with the lines of business. That's the marketing, product marketing, HR, engineering, etc. Because I always start with culture,
Yeah.
which always kind of throws my clients off. And I'm like, we'll get to the all of the tactical pieces. I need to understand your culture, because to me, culture is what happens when no one is watching.
Yeah.
It's not something that you put out in marketing. It's not stuff that you put on social media. It's what people are saying when you're not in the rooms as CXO.
Okay.
So we start there, and then we look at the processes, the programs, the platforms, the tool sets, all of those things to see, one, how are they working consistently? And secondly, where are the soft spots? I could say holes, but people don't like that for some
So
reason.
yeah, soft
So
spot's a good. I like that term. Yeah.
yeah. So where are the soft spots? And then how can we connect the dots together? And that's through a three-step process. It's communication clearly, concisely across the lines of business to make sure everyone's agreeing. The second is collaboration. That's making sure that everyone not only knows their role, but they're being held accountable to it, and that there's metrics to everything. And I'm not talking about smiley sheets and butts and seats,
Yeah.
right? I mean, literally revenue focused metrics. And the third piece is the orchestration. How are we doing this so that it is scalable and repeatable, and that there are succession plans in place, because people move in and out all the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
right? And then that's one side of the house. The other side is I am a keynote speaker. So right now I am filling out my calendar for 26 for sales kickoffs, associations, conferences, etc. And there's two pieces to it. One is talking about how to leverage AI to drive productivity and profitability,
Right.
and the other side is what we just talked about, which is stroke of success.
Yeah. Got it. Got it. How many times do you think you'll speak in 2026?
Oh God, I think probably upwards of 30.
Bruh, well, that's yeah, that's at least. I mean, that's every other week plus, right?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. And some of it is, a lot of it is live, some of it is done virtually. So I'm not living in a plane and a
yeah,
hotel
yeah,
all the time.
okay,
But you got to understand, there are now two completely different audiences for this.
yeah,
One being the sales and marketing, and then the other side is health and wellness. It's med devices. It's I had a construction company reach out, Richland, and that would have never happened before. So
right,
yeah, I believe it's serving its purpose, the book at least, and the new keynote, and that is exposing this to as many people as possible
yeah.
to
So
help them be bigger, faster, and stronger.
the other side of the, like the construction company, and the other companies that are reaching out to you, are they reaching out to you about the Stroke of Success book?
Stroke of success,
Okay,
absolutely.
okay, got it.
That one has really taken off like wildfire.
Yeah, well, it's a great title for one. I just wish you the most success possible on this
Thank you
thing.
so much. I